in one room, which means we must be ready for an auto show. And it's a big one. The 2016 North American International Auto Show starts tomorrow morning at dark 30. And that means we've got some news coming out of the Motor City tonight. And we've actually just got some details about one of the big debuts we expect tomorrow, which is Buick's concept car, we think pronounced the Vista, or something along those lines.
Hasta la vista.
But either way, it is gorgeous. You guys have all seen it now. A beautiful dark blue coupe based on, obviously, the Camaro. When they give the wheelbase dimensions and everything.
110.7 conveniently is exactly the number that's on the Camaro.
So it is a nice, tidy package, rear-wheel drive. They're already telling us it has a twin-turbo 3-liter V6 for 400 horsepower. We like
that's going to be
that.
the 3-liter, right?
I think that's what it says. 8-speed automatic. So really nice, dynamic package there, wrapped in a beautiful body, and I'm very excited to see that one in sheet metal and see how strongly they hint about any kind of production intent on that. And we will bring you those details tomorrow when we've seen it in all its glory. But Mercedes-Benz is also going to make some news with their bread and butter, the E-Class. They started at the high end of their lineup with the S-Class, then they did the C-Class here last year.
Baby S-Class.
They've all been very, very successful and well received, just beautiful vehicles, new standards for interior quality and materials.
Now I'm not going to be able to tell them apart.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Necessarily
this
bad,
E-Class looks like more of the same outside. Yeah. We're going back to the BMW classic, one sausage and 3 legs.
Why is it always sausage?
That's a German thing.
Schnitzel.
But either way, the E-Class is coming, and of course we know what it looks like outside. A very C-Class, S-Class influenced.
I'm very excited to see how this how it translates into wagon, coupe, all those body styles. Because those we haven't seen those yet.
No,
those are sure to follow. Probably not to this year or not this show. But I think a wagon of that general body shape is going to look pretty darn sharp.
Some of the interior images they've released already, though, are just completely floor you on the quality, design, and the textures, materials, and things like that Mercedes has incorporated. Just in the last couple of years, really since the last S-Class, they have just leapt to the front of the class, I think, on luxury interior design. And so more of the same there. They're really bragging about their digital dash. There's two 12.3-inch screens joined together. So you basically got like 24-inch diagonal screen across this middle of the dash.
Well, I'll hate it.
No analog gauges to be found. But they've incorporated all that technology with some really pretty materials, and we'll take a look at that tomorrow and let you know what we find out. And then also kind of a more odd debut, but if you're going to do it, maybe Detroit's the place to do it. It sounds like Kia is ready to try to test the waters in the large premium SUV market, and we know they've been there before back in 2000.
I think this debut it's a mistake. It's a press conference that is dated the wrong decade.
It is.
Something's wrong.
It is a little weird, but it sounds like they're pretty committed to this. And I can tell you, we've in the last year or so spent some time with Kia's latest offerings, and we really like them. And even their current SUV lineup is really pretty strong. So if this one comes back and it has the value and the powertrain and the interior that Kia is capable of doing in their lineup right now, it'll probably be a great vehicle, but by the time it rolls around to production, that's kind of what I'm most interested to see. Yeah. Does this concept look just way out there, or is it pretty clearly production intent, like it's coming,
in a few months?
Like at the New York Auto Show?
Yeah. The problem is, just like the Brago, it'll probably roll out and then gas will go to $5 a gallon, and then it'll just...
That could happen.
Be all off.
That could happen. On top of that, we don't want to spoil all the surprises, but we are going to see some other things in Detroit, like the Lincoln Continental. We're excited to see the production version. It was last year at this time. We were just talking about the concept, and we want to see how that has transitioned to production. We should see that tomorrow. Ford's going to have the Fusion, of course, one of its bread and butter vehicles there, a new updated Fusion.
Restyled.
We expect Chrysler to show its Town and Country minivan and what its future holds for the minivan from that company. Acura is going to have a concept here, and of course, it'll be our first time seeing the NSX the true NSX production version ready to roll
We've
out on the
seen
streets.
it for 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a different version every
version,
auto
but
show for the last 6 years, but
teasing us,
the
taunting
real
us.
deal
Same
is
car, different paint.
basically on the roads. But they are going to have something called the Precision concept that they're going to show a little revised styling direction, and the company kind of needs it, especially in their sedan offerings. They're pretty middle of the road and forgettable, so we'll see how that looks in the flesh. Lexus is supposed to have finally a production version of their large concepts, which they've had a couple different versions of the large coupe concept.
Right.
This is supposed to be
Proper
maybe the LC 500 for like a big luxury coupe.
Is it supposed to be like
concept.
an LS coupe?
I think basically,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what the last concepts we had seen really were at a very high level. A car that you would expect to cost $80,000-$90,000 type of thing. So we'll
I'm
see
excited
about
for that.
that.
They
If
did
it's the
fairly
production
well with
version.
the RC.
Yeah,
I'd like to see what they could do with a bigger package.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could
And more
it could be a great
Softer style.
I think we're all aligned on Lexus's current style issues with the front. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Chevy Cruze hatchback. We've seen pictures of that. Actually, pretty attractive package.
Very attractive.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And probably will,
I'm
kind of.
afraid it might get overlooked on the showroom floor,
It
but
might.
that remains to be seen.
But
That's my
even
own
that looks
doubts.
pretty good. I do want to check that out tomorrow. And the Chevy Bolt will also be our first chance to see that. That actually debuted at CES,
Yes.
the trade show, last week. But really, this is something that they rolled out as a concept last year.
Chevy Volt Ev is the official name. By the
Oh,
way.
okay. All right. We have to get the EV in there. But this was a concept last year. We see the production version now. We know it's going to cost right at $30,000 when you take out the federal tax credits and stuff. But with a 200-mile range and really a pretty good-looking package from what I've seen in pictures. So I'm really anxious to check that out
Very
tomorrow.
much so.
And then GMC, they're saying we're going to have an Acadia there. I'm sure it's time for that trio, the Acadia, the Traverse, the
That
Enclave.
thing was rolled out
upgrade.
in 2007.
Yeah, but it had a pretty
Yeah.
successful refresh a few years ago. It was pretty
Refresher,
substantial.
no, that is a 10-year.
It's
Yeah.
a lot. They've got.
They still sell well.
They sell a lot, and they don't
They've got their
really
money
look
for it.
old.
No,
but
they're holding up pretty well.
But that is a long
That
platform
cycle
is
this day and age.
That is coming
Yeah.
along. I'm sure they'll have new powertrains and all that good stuff. So we'll bring you that information tomorrow with all of our on-site video. But we do want to talk about one more thing tonight before we sign off, and that is it's time for our annual discussion of North American Car of the Year and North American Truck of the Year. Those are what kick off the show tomorrow, and we'll bring you that on Twitter as soon as we have that information. But the finalists for Car of the Year were the Chevy Malibu, and the Mazda MX-5 Miata, and the Honda Civic. So, really some bread and butter vehicles there with the Civic and the Malibu, and then obviously an enthusiast favorite in the MX-5 Miata. So how do we want to do this? Where we're going to reveal our picks. We haven't discussed this previously. We do this every year, but who wants to go first?
I don't
In
want
my
to go first.
opinion, I'll go first. And in my opinion, this is going to be a shoe-in. I think we've seen
Really?
some evidence
Shoe-in?
that
I don't
there-
think
Wait. So we're
You
telling what
haven't
we.
even heard my pick yet, and they're yelling at me.
Yeah, but the reason
I don't
is
think
I
there's
I
don't
don't
shoe-in
use
use
the
here.
word
This one is
shoe-in,
hard.
and I've been shot down.
No,
This one's hard.
it is hard.
This one's hard.
There's some good sellers there, but nothing's been received out of these three in the press like the MX-5 Miata has, and we've seen that this jury in particular does have a soft spot for enthusiast cars. We did see the Corvette win
Yes,
a few years
that
ago.
aside.
The MX-5 follows something very similar, where it's a beloved nameplate and it's better than ever. It's still holding the line on value,
But look at what they did with the
very well
Malibu.
received.
They lightened it. They made it bigger. They fixed all the problems. Now, is that necessarily groundbreaking? I don't
The
know. but
Civic is
that's-
the same thing. The Malibu and the Civic have their last generation cars were not well received, and these two put them both back in the game. That's where this is not an easy decision. I think.
I just think the jury is going to continue to award Mazda for, I think the standard by which affordable sports cars are measured, and at least I'm hoping that's the case. The Malibu looks very. If I had to pick something else, I would probably go Malibu in second place because the Civic still isn't a good-looking car. Even though
Well,
they have
I don't
fixed a
think
lot
the
of issues
Malibu
with
is
it.
a good-looking
The
car, but
Malibu
that's my own opinion.
is, in most cases, a very good-looking car. I think the profile is one of the best in the
He
class.
just doesn't like the grill.
No, it has
Well-
too many grills.
Well, that's
And the bow tie
the
is the wrong
profile is
spot.
excellent. The rear is very good. The
I know,
interior
I
is
go
very
with
promising.
I agree with him on that.
So I'd rank them Mazda, Chevy, Honda, and like I said, you guys, I can see, I will admit it's a strong class.
I'm saying
hoping.
Malibu. The reason I'm saying Malibu is because I don't think the MX-5 really moved that model forward. It's just another version of what's been there.
See, I
enjoy it, but honestly, here, 1989 when the Miata came out, it turned. You guys were too young to remember this, but in '89 when that car came out, it changed everybody's idea of what a roadster could be. Because before that, you had to snap on the roof and whatever. They were British. They didn't start in the rain. All that sort of stuff. And so the Miata was like revolutionary in '89. But really, when we drove this car, it was still loud. I mean, I had to shout at my passenger just to be able to communicate. And at the end of the day, like, I really wanted one, but I had to think long and hard about whether or not I really would want to drive one to work every day. And I thought that's what the '89 was supposed to be, like a livable, usable sports car. And here we are 25 years later, and we're still at the same point. I don't think it moves the needle anywhere. I'm just thankful it exists.
Agreed.
But I don't think. But I think the Civic and the Malibu.
They all do the same thing. None of those. There's nothing groundbreaking here. So we have to pick the best one of what is actually in their class. The Malibu does nothing for its class.
But
The Civic does nothing for its class. The MX-5.
It's the only car in the class.
Well, yeah, it holds the class together. It is the class. That's my only reason for picking the MX-5, which I am picking the MX-5 to be the winner.
I'm picking the Malibu because I think it's the best looking of. I think it's very good looking for its segment. I think the interior looks very nice. I think it's very premium, and I also think the hybrid with the 48 or 45, whatever the miles
That's the hybrid. We haven't heard a lot about that because I think it's a little bit of a late
Which is going to
intro to the
be
market.
a highlight for 5 minutes until Ford rolls out their 2017 Fusion hybrid
With 49 miles.
with 49 miles, and then Toyota's going to do it.
That's
and
possible.
then,
But he does have a point. The hybrid that's not getting quite a lot of press right now, and I don't even know if they can really consider it in the. I don't know if it has a delayed intro or anything. But the Malibu hybrid, is probably a pretty strong package if it delivers those numbers in the real world. But we've all got our picks on film, so we get to move on.
Yep.
You said MX-5,
Yep.
you said Malibu, I said MX-5.
We will
so
find out
no
tomorrow.
love for the Civic.
Well,
we'll
if
probably
the Civic,
all be wrong.
hopefully the Civic will win that way. We can all be mad.
Yeah. On the truck of the year, we've got the Volvo Xc90, the Honda Pilot, and the Nissan Titan.
XD specifically.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
The Titan XD. So
the
diesel.
5/8 ton pickup.
Right. The
With
diesel.
now that does have some significance, even though the vehicle itself doesn't look particularly groundbreaking. It does open up availability to a really stout Cummins diesel in that pretty unique 5/8 ton sort of
Right. It's
class
not a
range.
full 3/4 pickup where
it's supposed
your
to
Ram
ride
has
supposed to
Ram,
ride like a half
Cummins.
ton, but have the capability of a 3/4 ton.
It fits in between, like Ram offers a 3-liter V6 diesel, and then they also offer the inline 6
Right.
diesel, and this fits in between.
Yeah. But very stout, 310 horsepower.
Oh, it's very stout.
55
Yeah,
torque.
the truck. There's.
We'll see.
It's a great package,
Yeah.
but I don't see that as groundbreaking either.
No, I'm not voting for the Titan.
I don't
Is
think the
anybody
rest.
here
I
on
don't
board
think
with
the
that?
rest of the truck is
Okay.
good enough.
No.
Yeah. And then we've got the Honda
Good
Pilot,
truck.
which
But not there.
really, the Honda Pilot has been such a kind of behind-the-scenes entry for a long time. I mean,
Well,
maybe it's because that
When
class
this
is
one rolled
ballooned
out,
so much.
I think I emailed you almost immediately that and a picture
It looks
of the
like a Honda
Traverse.
Traverse.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's like,
Did
and
they
we're
just-
already talking about how the Traverse is 10 years old,
Right.
and the Pilot looks like it's just catching up.
Yeah,
to it.
the
they
Pilot
like
really.
put sketch paper
I
over
can't
top
name
of it. Just,
anything. I can't name anything that they have, added to this that is a bit of a wow factor or anything. So
No.
I can't vote for the Pilot either. I think for a lot of reasons, especially significance to the brand, the Volvo XC90 is my pick. Volvo has had a very quiet go of it a few years, changing ownership and everything. And then if you're going to relaunch your new modern lineup, after tinkering, hard at work in the garage, so to speak, for the last 5 years or so. The Xc90, I think, is an excellent entry.
Well, look at the body they delivered. Look at the
very
interior
modern,
they delivered. Look at the
modern
powertrain they
exterior.
delivered.
That's exactly right. So
there's nothing on that isn't significant.
And I'll tell you why I like the Xc90. To
I was
me,
gonna go there next.
this is. I have been hoping, praying, predicting that someone would begin to move, like that the minivan would just evolve away up to nothing. And this car, to me, is evidence of it, because you look at that car from a rear 3/4 view, and it's almost a station wagon. But it's got 3 forward, rows of seats, and it's a gorgeous car. It brings the family car back into something beautiful and not just utilitarian. I'm just excited about this
big
car.
For no reason.
I'm genuinely excited.
I think it has just an amazing interior. I mean, I was able to poke around it last year at the show, and even though we haven't been able to drive one yet, I mean, the interior quality and materials are just really classically pretty,
details,
but also but a very modern look too. And they've also come out with, like you guys were saying, the class moving forward type thing here. Volvo has this new Census system, which is kind of this tablet-sized, deal in the middle, but it's supposed to be very intuitive, swipe functions, and like one big home button to get you back to the home screen.
It looks more integrated than Tesla's giant
it does.
tablet.
It's nicely integrated.
It's not just a tablet. It's actually, it's part of the flowing interior.
Interior-wise, I think it's a very strong package. We've already said that outside, it works successfully as a Volvo. Front end is has the Volvo grille and everything, but then it can't be mistaken as anything but like a 2016 vehicle. I mean, it looks so fresh and modern to me. I give them a lot of credit for that. And then we got the powertrains go all the way up to their supercharged and turbocharged 4-cylinder, which is like good for almost 400 horsepower or something crazy like that. 8-speed automatic across the board. Full air suspension available. Just really supposed to be a comfortable vehicle, and we're excited to get a chance to drive it if we can soon. But even without that, I think we can see that among these competitors, it is a strong package all across the board, and it gets my vote. So we will.
I think we sound unanimous.
Yeah, we finally
sounds pretty unanimous.
So we will find out if we're all right or all wrong tomorrow morning, and you'll have to keep it tuned to Automotive Trends and particularly our Twitter feeds for news through the day as it's happening, and then check back for the site and the YouTube channel for all of the coverage we will be producing in the next couple days here in Detroit.